So, we want to start off like this. Hey guys, how are you? This is Solomon. I'm Vinnie.
Yeah.
You want to do an introduction of
Introduce yourself. And I do not have any stickers on me. Do you have any stickers?
Right.
You don't.
I joined the cult.
Yeah, but those aren't the stickers. And it doesn't really help if I don't have any stickers on me.
I mean, yeah.
I doubt I'm putting any stickers. But you can start with yourself.
Okay, but you're going to introduce yourself afterward?
I mean, you can ask me questions.
Okay. So my name's Vinnie. We're called Tabernacle of Tampa Bay. We're from Clearwater, Florida. Essentially, we're here today sharing the gospel about Jesus Christ. We believe that He is God in the flesh, that He is the truth, the way, the life. We really believe that He is the only way to heaven, and that He is the purpose, the center, the founder of the reality and the ground that we walk on. And would you mind just telling me about yourself, telling for the sake of the video?
What would you like to know?
Who you are, where you're from, the basis of what you believe, like if you
Hey.
give like a...
Christians are back, different church this time.
Just for a little bit, dude. I just got a sign, and they're already packing up.
Yeah, you missed their
I missed
speeches.
it. I missed it. You have no idea how like how often do they actually get a Pullman in big speaker systems like that? It's not often enough that I see them putting this much
effort.
Yeah.
It was difficult to converse because they were yelling so loud into this fucking microphone. You
But hey
couldn't
Nick,
even
for
have
the
a
sake of
discussion.
this the video, and so the people who watch the video can understand, I just want to talk to him. We don't have much time anyway.
Yeah, go ahead,
Yeah,
Solomon. I'll
he
leave you
doesn't
to
have
it,
much
man.
time.
Go ahead.
He's on
Appreciate
a
you. I
job.
really do. Yeah. We are.
Yeah.
Yes, we're not.
Where do you want me to begin? Like where I grew
Just
up?
your statement of
I
life.
grew up in Israel.
In Israel? Cool.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes, a very Jewish family. I've read the Bible, multiple different languages, multiple different books.
Have you read the New Testament as well?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so what are you? What's your beliefs?
I believe in this.
Jesus?
This right here, right now, is what I believe in.
So you believe like whatever's the constant right now, like whatever.
I mean, this
you're
is what
currently
exists.
living. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the reality, yeah.
Reality.
But you-
Lots of different ways of putting it.
Do you believe essentially in your subjective view of the origin and the conclusion of reality? So what do you
We don't know
believe?
the origin of conclusion.
So
That's-
do you believe that you can know where we came from as a human race and where we go as humans?
We can study it.
Right. But you believe, so in truth, there's essentially two lines. Either it's true or it's not, right? Yeah, the nature of truth.
I mean, that's one way to put it. It doesn't have to be like a statement. It doesn't have to be like all true or not. You could have varying degrees of what I like to call accuracy, not truth.
Okay.
So if
So when you
something
reach-
can be accurate or not, it could be varying degrees of is this more accurate
So you
than
don't
this?
believe in 100% absolute truth, like as
What-
in it is,
what do you
or
mean-
pure truth?
What do you mean 100% absolute truth? Because I just pointed out what 100% absolute truth is.
Well, you pointed out accuracy as if the truth could
I
somehow.
talked about accuracy. What I said before was about truth.
Okay, I just felt like your intention was to state that truth isn't something that can be ascertained and certain and concrete.
Is this concrete and certain? This right now.
What are you referring to as this? Like this
This.
experience? Yes, to some degree, it is.
To what degree is this not true or not accurate?
Depending upon the words that you're saying, the words that I'm saying, the agreements and the sentences.
I'm not
that
talking
we
about
say.
like what we're saying. This. Is this true?
The entire reality that we live in.
This moment, not like anything else. This moment
This
right
experience,
here.
this occurrence.
Is this
There is
moment
truth in
true?
it, but
What
there's-
about it is not true?
It'd be whatever part of you that exists that is not in line with the truth,
Which
which is
is
not in
what?
line with God. Any lie that you've ever practiced, see, in our beings we have the capacity to imitate or to mimic.
Can you point to something right here, right now that is not true?
Yeah, you're getting off track.
Hold on, Nick, because we have to have
Well,
the A
answer
and
his
B.
question, though.
I understand, but we have to have the A and B. It's not, the debates are
Well,
not
because he's trying
audience
to make
oriented.
a point about there being some kind of
Yeah, an
abstract truth
introduction.
that is not
Yeah,
here.
but he's avoiding your
that
question,
is
that's
more
the thing.
true than what we have here.
Well, not exactly, because the truth, right, is both simultaneously omnipresent, it's everywhere, right? And at the same time, it is, by its own choice, concentrated in a place that's not in your immediate facility. for the purpose of not exposing and condemning you in the place that you stand. You see, because it's truth.
I guess I don't understand what you're saying. Can you?
So I believe that God is truth. Like, if you're going to talk about truth, you talk about God.
Okay.
That's who he is. He defines himself by truth and love. These two come together, and you don't have one without the other. So truth is love. Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's you would know in Psalms, as you have previously Jewish history, right? That it says truth and love have come together, righteousness and peace have kissed. There's a psalm inside there.
That's very poetic.
Yeah, it is. And it actually speaks about the Messiah, where God, who is true, and out of his love, would reconcile us to...
Can you tell me about God without using the Bible?
Yes, because I actually came to God. My coming to God was I recognized God in certain ways, but without the cultivation or the accumulation or the climax of understanding that he is Jesus Christ, the proclamation of the Bible. Because, as being a previous atheist, I understood that there were certain knowledgeable facts about reality that if you're going to talk, like, science is the study of knowledge, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's literally it's science.
Yes. That's the meaning.
That's the meaning, the study of knowledge. Knowledge itself is an ascertainable, observable fact about reality, right? So you've studied it, it's comprehensible here and over there, right? And so I understood this links in with truth, because if you're going to have true knowledge, you're going to have something that not only is ascertainable, but something that is completely coherently true within all the parameters of our reality.
If it's true here, it's true everywhere.
It's true everywhere.
The truth is the truth is the truth.
It's the
you
truth.
Try to test something here, you test something
because it doesn't
there.
change. Correct. So what I understood is like, okay, well, if I'm looking, because I was searching, I didn't just immediately go to Christianity.
It's not so much that it doesn't change. I think the word that is more accurate would be that it's consistent.
Yes, consistent meaning
Consistent.
like, yes, exactly. That's what, yeah, that's a good word. So being that, when I came to Jesus, right, or came to God, I started understanding, well, if I want to know the truth about my reality, what is truth? And so truth is by its nature self-evident. That was a blessing and an awesome
I don't know about
observation.
that so much. There's lots of truths that are not very self-evident.
Well, it's the truth in its nature, like at its essence, is self-evident, right? So depending upon, it would be because nature, by the nature of truth is not change, right? The truth is, you don't get to choose the truth. You cannot change the truth. No matter how much time passes by, it will never be something other than what it was, okay? And it's something that teaches by its own nature, because it's something that's comprehensible by us as human beings. That's why we're talking about the truth right now.
I mean, we don't know that it's all comprehensible. We just have the comprehensible.
Well, we can't know, because either, this is one of the parts about truth that you have to understand. Either it is or it is not. And the truth demands that verdict.
What I said about accuracy is that science doesn't talk about truth or untruth. It talks about how accurate.
Well, it has to. It has to, because you agreed before.
Something doesn't have to be true or not true. It could have some percentage or level of accuracy to it. Like you could say the sun is yellow, and that would be true. But if you say that the sun is a radiation ball of electromagnetic energy, that is more accurate. If you want to talk about the exact wavelengths that are coming out from the sun, that is even more accurate.
Well, not necessarily more accurate, it's more whole. Meaning that it is inclusive of more of the truths that comprise its existence. It doesn't mean that anything that was said prior was less true. It just means that all the truths compiled together make a more wholly observable truth. Meaning that it's more comprehensible and more well-formed inside of your psyche to be able to communicate with somebody else.
We are once again being sidetracked by your attempt of establishing that there's some kind of abstract, absolute truth out there that we can know. And
because truth by its nature
is absolute. Okay, I'll give you that. You have proved that there's some way of knowing it. Keep going.
Okay. So truth by its nature is absolute, because when it makes its statement, it does not veer from that statement. It doesn't change from that statement. The statement that you just made, like if we just agreed, is consistent. It doesn't manipulate. It doesn't distort.
It's consistent. Yes.
It's consistent, meaning that what it's proclaiming is consistent with what it is. So that's why truth is an absolute in its nature. That's why we can understand that there are absolutes. So what I'm trying to, really one of my questions to you is why, one, did you lose the Jewish faith? Why do you like debating? And what is the purpose of
Those are complicated questions.
No, there's only three, really.
Those are very long.
Well, to be honest with you,
long-winded answers.
If you thought enough about what you're doing, right, which is what you should do before you make a decision, you should fully understand the circumstance and the conclusions of what you made to do what you're doing, and be able to articulate them for the sake of other people as well. Because the truth is also for everybody, it's universal, and if you want to be a partaker of the truth, if you want to preach the truth, you should fall in line. All your actions should be in line with what the truth does by its nature. You should mimic the nature of truth. So you may not have a correct intention because of what you do if you don't understand fully why you left Judaism, why you're debating me
I
right
think
now.
now you're implying things I didn't say.
Well, did you leave Judaism?
I mean, I'm still a Jew.
Okay. So do you believe in God?
Which one?
I understand you're a Jew by your blood. Are you Jew by blood?
Yeah.
Meaning that like you're Jew from the line of Judah?
Which God? This Jesus figure that was just a man?
Well, no, hold on. By your opinion, just a man. By your...
I mean, by all opinions.
Well, I mean, I'd be inclusive in that statement if he says all opinions. He's including me. In my opinion, it's not that he's a man.
It wasn't a man?
He was not a man, and it wasn't an age.
Which is strange in and of itself. But
Well, it's strange
we'll skip
if...
the genetic talk.
Well, it's strange because in the Bible it actually prophesies, right, that the Jewish people would stumble over the Messiah. And it says that the Old Testament was just a shadow of the Messiah. Like right here, Solomon, you have a shadow. This is an indicator of your substance.
I think that's an
The Old
interpretation.
Testament, right, is an indicator. It's a shadow of what is standing here in this point of time. Okay? So there's tons of, like Isaiah 53, where it says, he was bruised for our transgressions and he was crushed for our iniquities. Our chastisement for our peace was upon him, and by his stripes we are healed. That's a prophecy that the Messiah would come with the intent and purpose.
More to that, right?
There is, but all the ones prior to that are still about the Messiah. I was just reading Isaiah today, actually. I started 40, I think I went to about 45. And it's talking about how Israel has fallen into a corrupted state, and how he's going to restore Israel, how Israel is enraptured in itself, how it's become
It's
self-bent.
kind of a repeated theme in the whole Bible.
Correct, because it's a consistency that all of us as humans can understand, observe, and agree upon. And that's why it begs the question, well, if
Which
there's a...
is where I would disagree.
Okay, but what is the purpose of your disagreeing? Because if what we just said, right, was in line with what you, as a Jew, that's what it's talking about.
That's what that book talks about, yeah.
Correct. Are you a Jew?
I
By religious affiliation.
was born a Jew, yeah.
Okay, but
Snip, snip.
he was born a Jew by blood.
Yeah,
Religion, by its definition, means commitment or devoted to a particular object or thing, right, or being. So if you're religious, it means you're devoted. So are you devoted to Judaism? Are you devoted to the Bible?
I'm devoted to this life.
Okay, so that's a no.
That
Because
was
in this
an
life-
asshole. If you interpret that as a no, that's...
Well, by its default, because of the context of me asking the question.
Are you not committed to this life?
No, I'm not going to.
Then you are at death cult.
No, because really what God says about this life, Jesus said...
Focused on heaven already.
And this is where I wanted
Yes, because heaven is inside, first comes inside of your heart.
Yeah.
You see, heaven is when you have a relationship with God. That's
thought
what
it was
it
a
says
place. Isn't it
in
a
the
place?
beginning. No, it's not a death cult.
It's a death cult.
It's a death cult in a sense of where you're dying to yourself, your selfish
It's a
ambition.
death
It's a
cult.
spiritual death of dying to yourself, to your own spirit, and living to the Spirit of God. It's not physical death that we're
It's
talking
a death
about.
cult. You deny this life. This life is an illusion to you. This isn't real.
No, I
It's
never
like
said
it's
that.
insignificant.
I agree that it was real, and I don't think that it's an illusion. I just believe it is not the full cultivation of what life is, because God is the full cultivation of life, and He is not established yet His incarnate kingdom on the earth, but His kingdom does first come inside the heart, right? Before it actually is consummated in a physical reality. So, and that's what actually Judaism, which is the precursor to Christianity. Well, my opinion doesn't really matter. To be honest with you.
I mean, that's
And the
something I
Bible's,
can agree
and the
on.
Bible's, what you would have to read, and if anyone could read, because truth is free. Truth belongs to anyone who's willing to partake in it. That you can know the
No,
truth.
truth is not
I
free.
can know the truth.
takes a lot of work and a lot of debate and
Exactly.
a lot of
evidence too.
thinking. Lots
Not
of
by
evidence
its
to
nature,
understand.
because if you're,
Absolutely.
is reality you live in truth?
Because you, this,
Yes.
this right here,
Yes. Is it
this
true?
is absolutely true.
Did you purchase it? Did you somehow work for it before you were born?
What do you mean?
Meaning that you did not earn this life. It was given to you. It's not something that
Yeah.
you had to labor for. It was something that was freely given to you.
Well, is this
Especially by the
right
way.
here? I mean, this is a lot of understanding. This right here,
Understanding
to
incorporates
understand
knowledge.
what is happening right now, everything happening right now, because there's so much happening right now. It takes
Correct.
a lot of work.
Correct,
If you think
but
that we
you
can
see-
just intuitively understand and think everything that happens,
I'm not
like, we
saying
can
that it doesn't take
understand.
work, but I'm saying it's not necessarily the work of an individual human being in of its own
Oh,
power, nature, and
absolutely
strength.
not. It's the work of hundreds, thousands, possibly even
You see,
millions of people
I wouldn't
working
accredit-
through thousands of years of putting together the knowledge base so that we can understand what's happening.
So have
right
you read
now.
Job before?
Which one?
Job.
Job? Yeah.
Job. You know Job?
Job.
So he talks about in scripture that there's a place where you get rain from.
Ecclesiastics
There's
too.
a place where you get gold from.
All of that.
But where does
Same
knowledge
thing.
come from? He says knowledge comes from God, the Most High. So therefore, any knowledge that is worth having, that is not distorted by the current condition of this world, it comes from God. And
All
the labor
knowledge.
also to insinuate,
Wow.
to put in that knowledge into you, would also come from
So
God.
universities are pointless. You're saying schooling is pointless. It all comes from God, huh?
It would be pointless to a measure. Not in its entirety, schooling is not pointless, no, because there are
You said it
concrete
was.
facts that they incorporate, but it as a whole will not last as an institution because it says that all your people will be taught by God, meaning
That
that
contradicts what
everybody
you just said.
at a certain point in time who exists while God's kingdom is consummate on this earth will be taught by God. Anyone who wishes to know him will be taught by God, and if any knowledge that's worth knowing is inside those school systems, they will also be inside of God, which means
yeah?
it'd be redundant for you to go to some place other than the source to get water. If you want water, why do you go to where the stream is dying? Go to where the stream is rising.
So you wouldn't send your kids to school then, huh?
Huh?
You don't send your kids to school if you have kids.
I don't have
It's
kids. I don't think it's
distracting
wrong to send your
Like,
kids to
what,
school.
what do these tangents even mean? We're starting to argue about like abstracts and
Well, to
He
be honest
gets
with you, I have an
distracted
intent
like
of,
that.
just by the nature of our conversations, I believe that there's been more coherency, more implanted truths, more of a proclamation of, or a thorough understanding of what I believe. And I think in contrast of whoever's viewing this, you should see the whimsical nature, not to insult, but the lack of certainty.
You've been totally just insulting me. Right
Well,
now.
for this sake,
I mean, maybe
because
not
intentionally,
but you would definitely make
but the intent.
assumptions.
But well, hold on a second, because you said, "What are we doing about?" I know what I'm doing this for, but you may not understand what we're doing.
And there's another assumption.
Well, because you said you
It might
asked the
not have been
question.
intended as an insult, but definitely.
Well, did you then
had
intend? Did
that
you intend
kind
to
of
ask the
effect.
question? What are we even debating about?
You know his
If
intention?
you rewind it, you would see that he asked the question in a very sincere way. What are we even doing here? So that was an indicator that he himself does not have
We can
right
rewind
collection.
it. I think that.
And I'm sure that we will, and
said
anyone else
something
who
slightly
sees
different.
this and on YouTube, wherever else he posts it, I hope you do rewind it because I do not believe that my reiteration of what he said would indicate anything other than what I've exposed. I mean, what is your intended purpose of having a debate with me that you first delighted in? Was it to put me to shame? Was it for the sake of that you enjoy nomming or
What you said,
eating on your own
to
intellect? What is
reiterate
it?
Truths, to have debate, to
But
come
truth
to
has a purpose. There's an
understandings
accumulation
about
of it.
things.
So what is your purpose of proclaiming so far what you believe to be true?
You guys came out here first, just by the way, just to remind
Exactly.
you.
Yeah.
Just to remind you.
Exactly.
You came out here with a
I'm asking
megaphone
him.
and
No,
a speaker
yeah.
system.
I have completely agreed. Because I'm asking that same question to him. I know why I'm here. And I know, and I've already told what I believe. And the purpose for what I believe, because I
this is
believe that there
all
is
square. We're always here
salvation, I believe that there is
regardless,
damnation. I believe that there's a heaven and a hell. But I have yet to really receive a certain, ascertainable, whole understanding of why you, Solomon, whom I do love, want to debate.
Oh, well, that's completely okay that you don't understand. That's actually why I'm here.
It's not that I-
to make it clear that you do not understand.
Okay.
Because there's been a very big lie coming from your end, and that is that you do understand.
Okay. So at what point do you think that I don't understand what you said?
I didn't say that you don't understand this.
I just gave, I believe, a thorough input of what I
Of
believe.
your opinion.
No, not my
of
opinion.
what this is.
Let me make it clear. My opinion would be me taking my own resource, my own collection of observations that I've done
Yes.
concerning my reality, and trying to
And that is
formulate
exactly
it in
what
some
you're doing.
philosophical. No, because my resource is not my own; it's the Bible.
Is your
And you see, that's the difference between having. Correct, but it's not my resource. It's a resource given by
How
God
you
to
doing?
all mankind.
What's
It's a
this
resource
right
of truth.
I'm debating him about what is true.
How about
I was telling him this right
Well,
here.
how do you know that to be true?
This right here. What would you
So
call
are you
this?
absolute truth? Because that would be a okay.
What I
So it
say.
does exist.
What I say is the truth,
But-
specifically.
Okay, so
And what I say.
so your truth is subjective to your own opinion.
No, it's subjective for everyone, but it's not.
So I have to abide by your truth.
Yeah.
Even though I don't know what you know, and I don't know what you do, and I I don't know what you promote, I have to abide by them in my day-to-day life?
Yeah.
How so? Have you read a book? Have you proclaimed this in study halls? Have you?
I'm proclaiming it now. I'm starting a religion. Are you part of this little squad or?
I'm having a conversation with him.
Okay.
The point that I was
started this.
Oh, me.
Okay. All right.
The point that I was trying to make with him, for him to understand, because he was asking me what is true, what is real, is that this.
Like the current moment.
Yeah.
Truth is the current moment. Yeah.
This.
Truth is our perceptions in the current moment.
I mean, what else do we have?
Nothing.
So let me ask you something.
What else does he have?
Let me ask you something. So truth is
He's
subjective
got
to
a
you,
book,
right?
He thinks
Oh, he
God
wrote a
wrote a
book.
book.
No,
God wrote
God
a
did.
book.
Not-
Is
He
the
thinks
Bible?
God,
No, I
the
didn't
one
write
that
the Bible.
created
God
the
wrote the
entire universe, decided to go and write a
Let me ask you
book.
something.
God didn't write the Bible.
What's your name?
Alyssa.
Alyssa.
God didn't write the Bible.
What?
Objectively, we all know that, right?
Like,
No,
it's
God
human-
did.
You
People-
even
human
admit
people
he
wrote the
didn't.
Bible.
Hold on a second. Okay. Through the Spirit for the understanding of
Yeah,
God.
he
Meaning
inspired
that he
people,
took-
and then
hold
he
on.
inspired the
Solomon,
Catholic
give me
Church to
1
have
second to-
a
what's your
second
name?
council of Nicaea to
Alyssa.
decide what was
Hold
inspired
on,
and what
Solomon.
was not.
I need just a second to answer Alyssa because I do think her question is important.
And
okay?
then a thousand years later, he
Hold on.
inspired King James,
The
who
Bible?
had sex with men,
Okay.
to write the King
Jesus had
James
sex
book.
with John.
So listen, okay. Besides the indirect, okay, non-purposeful, no direction insults, okay. Here is
I'm
what
sorry,
I'm
do
trying
you
to.
think having sex with men is an insult?
No. But like the intentional.